This video contains content sponsored by John Wilson Blades and MK Blades. Opinions discussed in this video do not reflect the views of John Wilson or MK.
Hello and welcome to The Skating Lesson. I'm Dave Leese and I'm thrilled to welcome back La Scheu. La, welcome back to This and That.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So you were previously on a couple of weeks ago for the Russian test skates, and I have to say that you had the best response of the viewers thus far. And I know that you were a little bit nervous about how the viewers were going to react to you. So
I've never been on camera or on the internet, so I was like, heard about all these internet trolls that I thought were going to come after me for scandalous things that I said.
I mean,
but nice fans.
Were you nervous? Were you nervous, like that your life was going to become like Kim Kardashian in France? That people would come after you?
Not quite. I mean, I don't really think you have the viewership of the Kardashians yet, but one day.
Ouch, ouch. But I do want to say that one thing that we do have coming up is fantasy skating, and you have accepted the challenge to rival me in this. You're going to be one of the TSL fantasy gurus. We didn't even tell Elkin Kavas yet. He is going to be...
He is really good. He actually should be... He should do it instead of me. He's like...
No, I think you're going to do it. Maybe we can have Elkin be one of the celebs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good at fantasy. Like, it really bothers me, but...
But we are going to compete this year because we're dressed like Gordieva and Grinkov, and we didn't even plan this today, so I think that this is our 94 moment. I think we're going for the win in Lillehammer, but I want to know all of your opinions about things that are going on.
Well, I am feeling a little orange right now, like a little bit like Donald Trump, so I'm glad to be channeling Gordieva and Grinkov. I put on a lot of bronzer because, like, the camera can really wash you out. So I looked in the mirror and felt a little like Donald Trump, so I'm going to go.
Does the fall make you a little bit nervous? Because usually skating is the weirdest thing that's going on during the fall, and this election is just really... It's messing with my head a little bit. I'm used to like early mornings on Sunday being a little bit off kilter, seeing what some of these programs are, these tributes to 9/11, but the election has really just been a disaster, to use the words, but I'm very ready. Just a reminder to everyone that to continue the conversation after the show on Golden Skate, tell us everything you think of our scandalous opinions, and remember to pick up Skating on Air, our book club selection. Now let's get into it. Jillian and Bob went at the Finlandia Trophy, their start of the season internationally. We saw them a couple weeks ago debut their programs. We haven't actually talked about them yet on the show. They're skating to Seal for the short program. What do you make of this choice?
Well, she's rocking the bodysuit.
Fan of the bodysuit? Not a fan of the bodysuit.
Oh, no, I thought she looked great. I actually think she is one of the best dressed skaters out there.
Yes.
But, okay, so, you know...
She'll tell you that, too.
Yeah. All right. So, you know when you go to the Cheesecake Factory and they're, like, you get... It's not just a menu, it's like a whole novel. It's like a trilogy. Is basically...
I once worked there.
And you're like, you can't possibly have a good meal. Like, they can't possibly do all these things well. Mm-hmm. There's just like too many choices. Yes. I'm starting to feel that way about skating music selection.
Oh.
That we can have lyrics. It's just like too many options, and you're just like, it's becoming like the Cheesecake Factory, and it's like, does this really belong? Where did you come up with this?
Are you missing Carmen?
No, like, it's nice to not have that, but you're also just like, where did this come from? Mm-hmm. But I did like their short, actually, and I liked that their programs this season are a departure from last year. I really liked their programs last year. Really liked her costumes last year. So I thought that the short looked better on her than it does on him. You know, he's obviously the much more lyrical, classical skater. And for him to not skate to that kind of music brings out the fact that they might not be the best matched pairs team Despite being 2-time world champions.
I find that when they're on, they look much better together over time, but when they're off, they kind of look like more of the criticism that they get from Tarasova, who they just love when she commentates. The Russians always call them two single skaters. I found here that they didn't look as one. I think she was really in her head. She was sick before they left. She had cold, flu before they even got there. They don't practice on Olympic-size ice. Finlandia is Olympic-size. And I'm just going to say this. Finlandia is a hot mess for the North American teams this weekend. I don't know if it's because most of them don't practice on Olympic-size ice, but there were panels that were not in people's favor. This looked like a mess for some people. This looked like a hot mess competition. For them, she was really in her head about her Lutz. She was also in her head about her Lutz at their first Senior B last October. So I think that maybe she kind of likes to psychologically have to get herself really amped up for Skate Canada or something, because she did not look like herself at this competition. She kind of looked like she was head casing it a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can really use the Olympic size rink as an excuse, because it's a bigger rink than NHL. So it's easier to go from smaller to bigger. Wait, is that right?
Yeah. Olympic is bigger than NHL, so they're not going to have the Kavaguti and Smirnoff lift into the boards that they did at the World Championships.
So it's easier if you're training in a smaller rink to put your program in a bigger rink than go from bigger to smaller.
You're just huffing and puffing and trying to fill it out.
Yeah, and hit the boards like Gracie Gold on that triple S triple toe every time. So I don't think you can use that as an excuse. But they also looked really slow going in, especially in the short, going into that throw triple axel. And it was almost jarring, like something was wrong.
I think she freaked out after she missed the Lutz. It looked like the program kind of went, because I've seen them practice this program, and at the first competition, they were much more into it. And though Eric is more reserved, he was grooving out a little bit more during the footwork. They just did not have it. She looked panicked, and they both feed off of each other's energy. It looked like, this is not.
Yeah. Long they were slow going into the quad too. But it's the beginning of the season. It doesn't matter. I have to say that I did really like the programs.
I think that they're actually more free skate skaters than short program skaters. I find that they could mess the Lutz, miss the throw, go through the season. But I think this program, when they're on, is going to be successful for them. What did you make of the other teams here? We saw two American teams, Ashley Kane and Tim LeDuc, Tara Kane and Danny O'Shea. It was our first time seeing Tara Kane. She's one of my best dressed girls every time. I called her that on Instagram. She said, at least I won something.
What?
I called her the best dressed on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
So I was watching this competition in the waiting room to get my colonoscopy, because this is 50, everyone. I've been having some Alexis Semeka issues going on here. And I was watching this. This was not their best skate. Ashley and Tim got a similar score, but were ecstatic. What did you make of the two American teams?
So, I mean, rough skate for Kane and O'Shea. I kind of think back. So they're known for their consistency. So consistent at nationals, couple in the Grand Prix last year, and then Worlds. They really skated pretty well. The placement didn't show that because he fell in the footwork, which is in the short, which was a total fluke thing, and then she missed a throw in the long. But where they need to improve is becoming bigger skaters and filling out the ice, and that's just something that's really hard to tell on YouTube. Yeah. So it's hard to see. I mean, obviously they did have their issues here. I really liked their programs also, keeping the short from last season, and then the free. I thought it was really interesting, intricate, good choreography. Nice to see them move away from something like Phantom of the Opera, which is so overdone. And big improvements there, but it was just hard to see if they've really improved in those areas of, I think where say Alexa and Chris are much bigger skaters, if they're catching up with them or not. What did you think?
Yeah, I really think that, I told him this last year, is that I think that they do need, you're right, to get a stroking coach, a skating coach in there to really work on their basics. And she has a hip injury, which is going to make it more difficult for them to skate bigger, because there is, a weakness. There's always going to be a problem there with their skating after that surgery. But they need to skate bigger. They need to, really amp up the speed and the power to compete with the best international teams in the world. Pair skaters typically skate the fastest, and you don't want to look squirrely out there, or like the little engine that could. You don't want the American teams to always be the little engine that could competing against the big bad boys. But they're going to need to work on their speed, and that's something that they really do have to accomplish, I think, if they want to move up and they want to get the scores, especially in the short program. In the free skate, usually their consistency helps them get some more points so that they can move up in the competition, but they're always kind of typically back internationally after the short. They luck out in the death spiral this year. Last year, they had a weak twist and a weak death spiral. They've never had a great twist. That's something that they need to work. I'm sorry?
The twist is scary.
Yeah. You just say it, La. Come on, just come. This is why we have you on. All right? You say it. All right.
Yeah, she's like barely over his head.
And she's a tiny girl. So this is a technique thing.
Chuck her up there.
Yeah. Get Chris Knierim to chuck her up, okay?
Yeah, go to Delilah just for the twist.
Just for the twist. You know what? Maybe we need them all to work on our pairs together. Stronger together. Maybe we need a good Russian on the edges, and you know what? Someone to yell. Stroke faster. But I'm very interested to see how they're going to do against Haven and Brandon at the upcoming competition, because we haven't seen much of them. I mean, who's stronger? But what do you think about Ashley Kane and Tim Leduc? Because they've competed about 4 times now. We've seen them. And every time they get a little bit better, but they still are a new team. I don't feel like they really have real choreography in the free skate. And to me, they both try to emphasize that they're both really flexible and that they have nice lines, but then the legs don't match. Huge pet peeve of mine, but I don't think we're even there yet for this team. We just need to focus on the elements. So What is your opinion on the elements of this team?
So I really enjoy watching them.
I do too.
They just have like a nice look about them. She kind of brings that bit of like Texas
glam,
yes. Good word, because I was going to say cheesy, and that was not really what I wanted to say. It's like the...
she's a blonde Texan. She's a blonde from Texas.
Yes. I like that she's bringing that. So, like, she did pairs and she did singles. When you're that strong single skater, you cannot go missing triple salchows, especially as a new team. Like, bring the consistency here. Set yourself apart by being able to land your side-by-side jumps. Now, question for you, though. Do you think she's too tall for pair skating?
It's a really tough thing. I mean, look, it's going to be hard for them to get the twist. That, I think, is the one thing that, with her height, is the big thing. Can they ever get a triple twist? They're going to need it. It's kind of the big question mark. The twist, they're going to be very far back in terms of points internationally. If they can't do it, they have to make up points. They're going to need triple flip side by side, triple loop side by side, they really have to, and they cannot be having single toe mistakes or anything like that. They have to be really clean. I notice their jumps get better from competition to competition, and the throws get better, but they're still not secure. But they're new. But by nationals, look, that triple loop double toe combination needs to be nailed. One of them can't be singling toe. There can't be a 2-foot. And he's very intense. And one of the things I remember talking to Bruno is that Bruno said that he should have gone, that Bruno, because Tim Leduc tried out with Marissa, and he said that Tim wasn't as strong in the lifts as Mervyn is. Notice that Tim Leduc is like the strongest we have like ever seen him. All of a sudden, he looks like he's been doing squats. No one's ever going to say that to him again. He is intense. So
he has no problem lifting her.
No problem lifting her. They're very strong in the lift. She looks great in the lift. So it's just interesting to me, that whole dynamic that Marissa didn't pick him, and now they're probably going to be pretty close at nationals. That's an interesting thing, because I know if someone didn't pick me, I would want to beat them so badly.
They're an interesting team to watch. I'm excited to see how they develop.
Yeah. How'd you think about Ashtakova and Romanov?
They don't really do it for me.
All right, let's just move along. Remember, Alexis, sucks for them moving on, because I thought that the ladies' competition was really interesting here.
Yeah.
We saw Mao Asada against Caitlin Osman. I never saw that as a rivalry. Before this, wasn't really sure how this was all going to pan out. We had Anna Pogorelaya, Courtney Hicks, and Tuktamisheva. So let's start with the winner here, Caitlin Osman. What did you make of her programs?
So I thought the short was kind of an odd choice. Back to the Cheesecake Factory.
Yes.
You know, so many options, and that's what you choose. So if I'm just watching, I think she's someone who peaks early in the season. So she's traditionally done pretty well early and then not really been much of a factor later on at Worlds. So I thought that putting her against Mal here and seeing that she beat Mal was an interesting comparison. Watching both of their programs, I thought Mal was far and above much better. And I had to go back and just look at the score sheet, which I, quite frankly, rarely do.
And what did you see on the score sheet? What did it speak to you?
But she's she kept looking like she was falling out of those jumps, but
she did have some turnouts and hands down, yeah.
Yeah, she had 5 triples compared to Mal's 4 triples, and Mal really needed that second triple flip to beat her, especially since she's not doing triple axel. She doesn't have triples. She doesn't do a Lutz, and we're kind of getting like a watered down Mal at this point. Although was such a beautiful skater, I loved her programs. I thought that Caitlin, I totally lost my train of thought.
Well, I think, I agree with you about the short program with Caitlin Osman, but I really liked the free skate. It was done by our boyfriend, Jeff Buttle. Love him. I really thought the music worked well for her. I thought it was more sophisticated. She did have some issues technically. Ravi, Walia, do not let Caitlin Osman be turning out of jumps. Okay, we know that she's a Canadian.
Okay. I don't think that triple flip, triple loop is happening for Mao anymore.
No. I mean, she didn't get credit when she did it at the Olympics either. So when she whipped it out, which is a hard they're very difficult in that combination. So as far as Osman goes, I think the program is really strong for her. There were some comments on Facebook. I don't think Caitlin Osman is a bad skater. I think she's actually quite good. She needs to land her jumps without these turnouts to look more polished, in my opinion. I think that in terms of Mao, I like that she used the same piece of music for both. She's not doing, she said, she's using Ritual Fire Dance, played by Arthur Robinson, choreographed by Laurie Nickel. In the short program, she has a black costume. She wants to express a black swan that turns into a mysterious lady with the magical power, a witch. Didn't quite get that, but kind of see where she's going. In that long program, that mysterious lady does a passionate dance, very intense and feminine, wearing a red costume. She wants to express a mature lady, something she couldn't do in the past. I think that she really is accomplishing that. I really like that. I think for Mao, I think it helps her, and it helps the impression of her when she's going for the harder jumps. I think that when Mao doesn't go for the triple axel, we kind of think, okay, she's not going to win because she doesn't have the Lutz, and she doesn't have the triple. So I think she does kind of need it. I think she's also trying to set herself up for next year and stay healthy. At the same time, this is a great program, and I think that maybe she should go for this. She needed the triple flip here. When the triple flip happened, she lost it, but I think that her components could have still been higher because of the choreography, because of how she performed it, but she did say that she could have given it more emotion. So, I mean, I understand the result, but I don't know. What did you think of Anna Pogorelaya? Because we were really complimentary of her over the last couple of months, and I felt here was a real step back for her. What did you think?
I mean, I still like her material a lot this year. I think she might be my favorite Russian this season. I like the darker hair.
Okay.
I just thought the packaging overall was so much better. I really liked both of these programs, like Son of a Woman in the short. Okay, how weird was her reaction at the end?
Talk me through it.
So I'm like, all right, girlfriend, chill out. You didn't skate your best, but it's Finlandia trophy. Let's we can lose some of the drama here, you know?
And she's clearly skated far worse in the past.
Exactly. Like, you put your hand down a couple times. You put your foot down a couple times. Like, we've seen worse, and it's October at Finlandia.
Yeah.
Let's chill. We don't need, like,
Yeah. So I noticed that when she gets nervous, she skates kind of within herself and her posture changes. She was off axis a lot in the free skate with the hands down. You knew every jump was going to be the same.
Yeah.
But not as bad as last season, so I think a victory. I think the music works. She's got some of the best costumes, I think, that really works for her. But I want to send her to Bikram yoga because I noticed that her body is never extended in one line, and she really needs to do the different Warrior 3 poses that you would do in Bikram yoga to be like one line from the head to the toe, because sometimes her posture is like this, and then she tries to do something with the leg. It's just not all extended, nor ballet training for some of these Russian ladies, because they have it in the other disciplines, and sometimes it looks like Tuktamisheva and Pogorelaya are really missing the ballet training. I don't know if Mishin doesn't believe in that with Tuktamisheva, with Pogorelaya, but to me it's just something that I notice.
To do ballet before Bikram. I think Bikram's a little intense. She might keel over. Can we go back to Mal for a sec? Did you notice?
Why don't we just keep going back? How much do you love Mal? Let's keep going back to Mal.
I'm like not even like the biggest Mal fan out there,
okay.
But I'm not Justin Mahalik. But did you notice that she was bringing the face this?
Yes.
Year? Like,
she had a moment on center ice. Yeah. So what I liked is that usually Lori Nickel does the lyrical free skates for Mal, and then Tarasova gives us the drama. And I felt like Lori tried to bring in some of what Tarasova did, but then like refine it like Lori would, because Tarasova can be a little much.
I love the movement, just the way she was moving, especially in the short. Are we going to talk about the costume in the long?
Let's talk about the costume in the long. How do you feel about it? I really like the red dress.
I did too, but the shape that it goes into
is phallic.
The bottom is a little phallic. You're going to need to do the video thing where you splice it in so people watching can see.
Thank you. I'm learning the editing, and you just put the big challenge on, but we will work on this. Yeah, I know what I'm doing tonight. But yeah, let's... I'm learning from week to week, people. Okay, there's a lot going on here. We are on some weird diets. I'm doing health coaching with you. Yes. Editing, yeah, the costume. I like the dress. I don't care. You know what? She's a mature woman out there. She can be phallic if she wants to. What did you think about Courtney Hicks?
I did like the dress in the long.
So I feel like she's trying artistically.
You know, here's the thing about Courtney, and I think we see this in these group of skaters that aren't breaking through to the top.
So like the penultimate group, the second to last group. Yeah.
Right, or even, yeah. I mean, you kind of even see it just below 1 and 2. You gotta really improve.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to improve in skating. And you take someone like, let's look at Diva Wagner.
Okay.
Let's say from Sochi to now, I think she's really improved.
She has.
I think that's what's setting her apart right now. And that Courtney's just not. Mm-hmm. And I think, and that's what's holding her back, except improving in the dress department.
I think technically we do see the same errors on the triple flip, triple toe every time. She often looks off balance on her landings.
It's so swingy. Mm-hmm. Like, straighten that stuff out.
The double axel, she really kicks very hard sometimes. Yeah. She does, and she's a technical skater, but then she makes the technical errors, which she can't do. Courtney Hicks, if she wants to move up, has to hit her jumps every single time and find a way to nail those landings. So. Right.
And I was thinking, she's working with Todd Sand now. She had a coaching change over the summer, and going from, she was with John Nix for a while, and Todd Sand was obviously
involved.
Nick's student for a long time. So maybe he can help her in the jump area, just going back to sort of her original technique that she learned the triples on.
Mm-hmm. But when you heard that she was with Todd Sand, being a 90s skating fan and living through Mino and Sand and their struggles on the side-by-side jumps, did you roll your eyes and say something snarky?
I like Todd Sand.
You're pleading the fifth. You are... Remember that Nationals from '97 where they fell on the death spiral, and oh man, that was a rough night of skating. That '97 Nationals broadcast. Oh, we loved Mino and Sand. Skating to the wedding programs it was their wedding. We knew that they were married, and Kyoko and Jason were not and didn't have the chemistry. But yes, moving along here.
Where she goes head first.
Yes. Oh man, go back and watch the '97 programs if you haven't. But let's talk about the men here, because I know there's a lot to be said. Oh wait, do you have any thoughts on Tuktanisheva before we went? She was your girl a couple of weeks ago. Did she live up?
Yeah, I want her to lose the shirt in the short. I can't with the bent arms.
The bent arms, you're done.
Yeah, and she just isn't very interesting to me. Mm-hmm. She makes me look away and scroll through my Instagram.
So I think that her best days may be behind her. In terms of, everyone has a peak, and I think that she peaked in the season after the Olympics, and I would be curious to see maybe she can make a run for it next season. I don't think this year is her year.
Right. Some of her jumps are great, and the short was pretty good. I just can't. She just doesn't draw me in. Mm-hmm.
Well, let's talk about someone who's definitely going for it is Nathan Chen with his 5 quads in the free skate. So he won here. Congratulations, parabens. What do you think about, so there's a lot of talk because he was competing against Patrick Chan, so there's going to be talk about how his skating skills match up versus how their jumping content matches up. They're both with Marina. Marina's admitting to being Patrick's coach, but she hasn't said that she's Nathan's coach. And we have to kind of talk about this because Nathan spent time in Sun Valley on his own. He spent time in Colorado on his own. He was not put on the ice by Raphael's team at Golden West, though Raphael's team was there. But Marina is still referring to Raphael as Nathan's coach. She said, "We work together at the moment because I made his short program. His coach, Raphael, made him the best jumper in the world." That is past tense, by the way, technically. He has 4 different quad jumps in the free program. With him, we work a lot with skating skills, the emotional level of performance, spins, and consistency in the program. So she's not saying that she's his coach, but she's saying that she's training him. Now, there was talk that Patrick was going to be with Marina, and she's going to be overseeing him, but she may send him to Rafa Times. So I wonder if she's going to send Nathan to Rafa Times. I think Marina is becoming the new Marta Caroli of skating, and that this is what's actually really happening, is that Marina's overseeing. Maybe she's not the technical, but she's going to be training Nathan Chen. That's what I'm inferring. But she is not admitting to being his coach. Ice Network has been very lax with all of the coaching changes. They didn't announce Mariah Bell. They're very cagey about what's going on, but Nathan's one we've been watching for some time. What do you think of Nathan Chen? Is Marina his coach?
Okay. I have a lot to say.
Okay.
I feel like I should do a Hillary Clinton shimmy and woo. So, okay, they need a jump. Everyone needs a jump coach.
Yes.
So, Marina...
A jump coach in the rink who's not 1,000 miles away or 2,000 miles.
No, I think he can go get shipped off to Marina for refinement, but there needs to be a jump coach in his program.
Okay.
In his training regimen. All right. So I think you need to interview Nathan Chen because I need to know, let's start with Nationals last year.
Okay.
February. He breaks his hip.
During the exhibition. On a takeoff.
Right. So he then goes to Colorado and gets surgery and rehab. Okay. So let's say
him rock climbing. He was strengthening that hip.
Right. So he was off the ice for some time.
Yes.
How long do you think he was off the ice for?
Officially or unofficially? Unofficially 3 months. Okay. Because I'm told that when you have hip surgery, you have to be off for 3 months.
All right, so that brings us to April.
Yes.
So now, April to October, he has changed coaches, gotten 2 new, not changed coaches, but working with new people, gotten 2 new programs, and 5 quads.
And he was doing the quads on his own in Colorado over the summer.
How does this happen? How many months is that? April, May, June, July, October? September, October.
Well, I read that book about tiger moms. But Nathan is obviously very intense himself to go for it. I mean, he changes his program to put in an extra quad toe. But
Right.
I think it is, and people are saying this is great. Obviously, he's a world contender. Can
Yeah.
he be healthy until March?
Well, we need to bubble wrap him.
Okay.
And okay, so going back to the coaching, I think Marina Raf combo is actually a good scenario. I was worried that he had left Raf and was with Marina full time, and I was just like, this is not.
He may be. We don't know. This is a very.
Let's think optimistically that he's still with Raf. But so, how many quad flips and lutzes? 10 out of 10. How many do you think he's landing? He landed both quad lutzes here.
I think the quad lutz is a good jump for him.
Yeah. I think he rotates so fast.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like he could do a quad lutz, quad toe one day.
Well, wow, why did you just say that? Because his mother could be watching this show, and she may order him to do that at the rink tomorrow.
Oh, no, he's going to break another hip.
You know that they're going for the gold at Nationals because they lost it last year. You know that's never going to happen again. This is a boy who won at every level coming up, and I expect him to win a couple. I think this is his first gold medal of many on the senior level. I do think he has a lot of... He looks down a lot when he skates. He does a little bit of the Hanyu. You already ruined Hanyu for me. Nathan Chen does look down a bit when he is skating, and I notice that he needs to project up. Then he has some lovely moments in choreography where he's doing the spread eagles with the head rolls, and I think the Marina really will help him. And when you skate every day with Patrick Chan, if your skating skills aren't on the same level, you're going to feel inadequate. And even though you have the quads, Patrick beat him in components by 14 points in the free skate. That's a full quad. So Patrick gets a quad back on Nathan Chen just based on the components alone. That's interesting. I think it's deserved. I think he could even go a little bit higher. The marks for the components for Kovtun were out of control here. I think, but Nathan, he sometimes looks like he's throwing his body. The takeoff for the quad sow, I didn't believe he had any chance of landing that when he went into it. He just looks overly aggressive. He said he's 3 out of 5. He threw that in the program, threw the quad toe later on. It looks like he gets a little aggressive and a little bit manic. We've seen his history where he's doing the quad in the exhibition. I just want him to dial it back, make sure these quad attempts are controlled, because it looks like someone needs to be tough with Nathan Chen and dial him back a bit. What do you think?
Right. I do like watching the way he moves. He has a nice quality to him. He's not like a Max Aaron out there.
He trained with Ballet West growing up.
But this program needs to be cleaned up. Like, whose decision was it to put 5, how many quads did he do? 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whose decision was that? The mom's or coach?
Well, I think he was supposed to do 4, and he decided to put 1 more in.
Right. But even 4, I don't expect by the time we get to Nationals, he's going to have 4 quads in his free skate. Unless they're really consistent, and then maybe he will.
Marina's known for training consistency in pairs, in dance, but they weren't doing 5 quads. This is a new ball game for her in singles and what she's going to be bringing to the equation. So I'm curious to see if she will pull them out, because her skaters are known for consistency. He's also getting a ridiculous amount of points in base mark for attempting these quads.
Exactly, yeah. I look at the program, and especially compared to Patrick Chan, without looking at the score sheet again, I thought Patrick Chan won. Like, I was ahead. But he's just getting, and it's like those falls, you're not getting, it's just the base value.
So Patrick lost points because he didn't put either of his quads in combination. So Patrick Chan, with his consistency, if he does a quad toe, tack a triple toe or a double toe on the end of it, because you don't know if the second one's coming. I know you want to get more points for doing the second one later, but Patrick, if you land that first quad toe, stick it on now. Don't lose any points. Don't take the risk. If you do a triple axel and you're planning to, add the double toe on the first one, Patrick, because you don't know what's going to happen later in the program. Self-awareness, honey. We need to be really consistent here because he needs to get the points. This free skate is gorgeous. And he's doing different he's doing different choreography. Usually we see the same choreography from Patrick. I saw different signature moves here. Like, there were new moves that were coming out.
And he's not using these totally overdone classical pieces. There's no Les Mis, there's no Phantom. Like, I loved it.
Mm-hmm. The Eric Radford piece, you're a fan.
Yeah. It's interesting that we kind of saw the Chen versus Chan was very similar to Osman versus Mao. Mm-hmm. In the second place skater is like so much better and you think is won and then just loses it on the little technical things.
In dance as well, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, good for him. Good for Patrick. I could just watch him skate all day. I don't care what he's landing, what he's falling, where he thinks that axis is on his quads and triple axel. I'll watch him all day.
Yeah. Look, apparently he had a 6-mistake free skate at the time that he was at the high performance camp in Canada. So he's come quite a long way since August. I think Marina may be able to be tough with him. It's interesting. Like, her skaters seem to like her / I think that there's a healthy fear. If someone could get Patrick Chan in line, I think Marina could do it. I think that she has the power and she knows how. He does. Absolutely. They need someone in there. And I think Marina will bring someone in because I don't think that she's a woman who likes to lose. And I think she may know that the way that ice dance politics swing, ice dance may not be her area where she's going to be winning everything. And I think she may go towards the singles because I think Marina is not going to lose. Look, she is a fighter. And I think she knows what to do. And I think she will bring someone into the equation. I would expect... I know that they have Johnny Johns who can work on jumps, but I think that they're going to get like a real specialist in there. So I
think she could bring in the hot sun.
He was hiking with Meryl in Italy. I don't. What is he doing?
Meryl should really post more videos with him in
it. You know what, Meryl, be on that. So, did you watch Meryl Davis dance in Japan?
Send me the link.
If you have not watched Meryl Davis' performance, if you thought that she was like sexy on Dancing with the Stars, this performance that Meryl Davis did in Japan was jaw-dropping. You need to check it out.
Post the link.
I will post the link again, and I will. It is incredible. It is to die for. Wow. Meryl Davis, we never saw this on the ice from her, and I feel a little bit disappointed, and I feel like she was holding out on us for several years, and I'm wondering whose fault that was. But moving on, what did you think of Kovtun and the Russian men here? What Kovtun, Kolyada, thoughts on them?
Okay. So Kovtun's short program was hitchhiking themed.
Mm-hmm.
Can you think of any other programs that have ever been hitchhiking themed?
No.
Okay, I think we have a skating first here.
Is this the Letitia Hubert Hooker on the Corner program from 98-99? It's a first. Yeah.
That opening quad is short was
amazing.
Yeah. He's also one that doesn't quite hold my attention.
He's a better short program skater. He's better in small doses.
He was acting it up here, so... and then I think Kolyada, he's a little mediocre here, but he just looked so much like Ilya Kulik to me with those rosy cheeks that I end up watching him.
Okay. Not scrolling through your Instagram. I have to tell you, I like to watch Yorick Hendricks. He's one of those skaters, and it's not just because he plays TSL Fantasy. He's kind of like that European, like he has this heart section where it sounds like a heartbeat, and he's like he's bringing the European-ness to...
He's starting to get, like, the man bun.
I would like him to get rid of that.
So it's, like, this long. No, he just needs to grow it a little more, and it'll be okay.
All right. I'm not a man bun person. I'm not. But you had opinions on hair, and I know that you wanted to do a PSA to Jason Brown.
Oh, yes. So this is totally off topic, but... I think that Jason needs to discover the wonderful world of keratin treatments.
Talk me through this. And why does he need this? And what is your experience? So,
when you have a Jufro, things can get a little bit big and a little frizzy, very curly. I think Jason Brown and I, naturally have the same kind of hair.
Do you feel connected to him?
Do I feel what?
Like a connection with him.
All Jews are related. So, Okay.
I thought you all just went to summer camp with like each other's cousin or something. Like you all do know each other. You're networking geniuses.
I never went to summer camp. I never got out of the ice rink. Barely saw the sun.
Okay.
But when I went to Penn, like everyone knew each other from summer camp, and it was like the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, weirdest thing ever. So shocked. Anyway, continue.
Have someone like you in my life back then to explain why all these people already knew each other before college even started.
And then you knew all the people that I went to high school with. But anyway.
Later. Okay, so anyway, because like, I know he spends a lot of time trying to get like the flat look and using a lot of gel, and I don't think we're ever going to get rid of the ponytail.
Shout out to the Terracane video where Jason does his hair.
So the keratin, Brazilian blowout, whatever it is he decides to go with, is going to save him hours of time, because it's going to like get his hair straight, and then he'll have a much easier look when it's like the slicked back look, and he's not going to have to wear a hat all the time. Do you know those pictures when it's like 100 degrees out and he's wearing a beanie?
Yes.
And the hair is like so just too far gone?
Because he gets into being in Colorado. He does.
Yeah, but it still has got to be like too hot to wear a beanie. Because he's like wearing one in Israel this summer. Anyway, really think the keratin's going to be the way to go, and just like get that slick look. He'll have it in practice.
So I think we need Carly Gold to take him, because he stays with the Golds when he is in LA. So
no, he needs a good Jew. The Golds aren't going to understand. You know,
that is true. Have you ever read the entry on Jew or Not a Jew about the Golds? It is one of the greatest websites of all time. They're not Jewish, actually.
I know, and they have that Gentile hair, so they're not going to understand. They need like, I don't know. We'll talk to Ann Jensen and find a good Jew to take Jason to get a keratin.
All right. So we're on it. This is the most important thing for nationals. Jason Brown, I was thinking, does he just want to get rid of the hair to keep it? Because I actually found a picture of his brother who doesn't have the long hair, who does look like Jason. And if my editing skills are proper, you can see this right now on the screen. But you said no. You just voted for the keratin. I defer to you in these areas. So
I don't think he's going to chop off the ponytail. I think he really thinks it gives him like special skating powers.
Okay.
And that Aid endorses this, and that he's not going to lose it.
Okay. Well, we have solved, apparently, the world's problems on the show with the keratin treatments. But let's solve the ice dance problems. Because I have to say, one of the most interesting things about ice dance this season is that we are playing a game of chess. And I love games. I love board game nights. I am a nerd. I went to the movies this weekend. Are you shocked? With my mother.
What did you see?
I saw The Girl on the Train.
Oh, was it good?
Yes, I love good movie. A good psychological thriller. It was great. I recommend it.
And her husband and kids are my neighbors in New York.
Oh, well.
See them at the park with their dog.
You really do. You Jews do know everyone. I don't know how to guess.
And then I like walked by her house and know exactly where she lives and Googled it and looked at the inside and everything.
I've been to your house and you've never explained that Emily Blunt lives near there. So you're on my list right now.
This is a recent thing. So this is what happened. So I was with Gordy and...
Gordy is your oversized dog. Yes. Clearly not a dog that you purchased. This was by your husband.
We were on our morning walk, and her husband, John Krasinski, was there too, and he was wearing a Boston Red Sox hat and sunglasses. And I recognized him, but I thought it was Jason Sudeikis, who's married to Olivia Wilde. And there was this other older woman there at the park, and he was very discreet undercover, would never, no normal person would ever recognize him. And then as we were leaving, I said to this older woman, I was like, I think that guy's an actor. I think his name is Jason Sudeikis. And she was like, oh my God, I'm going to go ask him. And I was so horrified by that.
You do not do that on the Upper East Side.
No, and here's this guy, he's with his little girl, he's with his dog, it's 8:30 in the morning, he's just trying to blend in, just leave him alone. Mm-hmm. But before I left him alone, I did try talking to the kid and asked what her name was, and her name is Hazel, I think. So then I could go home, and I Googled and found out that Olivia Wilde and Jason Sudeikis, their child is actually Otis. and not Hazel. So I had to Google, like, which celebrity has a child named Hazel, and it's Emily Blunt and John Krasinski.
Now, this is not your first celebrity sighting, because as TSL viewers need to know, you also had an encounter with Nicole Rizhikova last year.
In Banana Republic, and I told her that she stated great at World, and she was like, I can't believe I was just recognized.
Look at you making... She probably made her day, okay? Did she?
Yeah, she was with her mom and her sister, and they were very American, but they weren't speaking English.
Now, I ran into your yoga teacher last week when we went to brunch with Fleur. I saw Dominic Savino on the street.
This?
I know. Well, I saw him, and I was still a little... So, La goes...
Jersey?
What? No, in New York. We went to the place where, like, that like, creepy hotel thing where you do brunch on the roof. That hotel thing where, like, it's a creepy... Whatever. I don't know. I forget the name of it. It's in Chelsea. Anyway, I passed Dominic walking his dog. He was just coming. Now, Dominic works at Yoga Vida, which is where you took yoga with the Cohen sisters. And I remember that you said that you figured out Sasha Cohen's entire performance issues from watching her at yoga. So please walk us through what Sasha Cohen is like in the yoga studio.
All right, so when I did my 200-hour yoga teacher training, you have to go to classes and observe them.
Did anyone kick you in the face like I once did?
No, because you're, like, in the front corner. Oh,
Okay.
Not getting kicked. I do get kicked in the face when I'm, like, not paying attention when I'm teaching. But, okay, so I'm, like, in the front corner, and it's a packed class, and in walks Sasha Cohen. Sits,
Did
like,
you want to pee a little?
right in the second row. Oh, I had a moment.
Okay.
It's like, this is the best day of my life.
Okay.
And, you know, I have to, like, play it cool and not just, and there was an hour class, and I didn't want to just, like, stare at her the whole time, but, like, obviously I'm going to stare at her the whole time. It's Sasha fucking Cohen. Like, I'm going to stare at her. So, okay. So Sasha is, like, you know, extremely flexible and, like, great at yoga.
Doing all the spin positions.
Right. You do,
The Y spin, the Beelman.
split. And her leg is just, like, up in the air, like, full Charlotte. But you can see her mind is totally wandering. Like, she is not focused on the mat. And I'm like, Sasha, get it together. This is 2006 Torino. The gold medal is on the line, and you're about to fall on your triple flip and your triple lutz, and you're going to lose the gold medal. Get focused. Like, just close your eyes, get in your body, get your mind on the mat, and concentrate here. And she's, like, picking her toenails during pigeon. I'm like, Sasha, pay attention.
No, but you said that her sister would have been the better skater?
Who also did her yoga training at Yoga Vida and then did a mentorship program. Anyway, was, like, also very flexible, very strong, and not totally ADD. So I was like, you know, Natasha would have won the Olympics in 2006. Like, I think that Natasha might have been the better ice skater.
You know that I'm still, like, you know, our hearts all... So I had, like, 15% faith that she could do it. And I remember that I was in news writing and reporting too when the free skate was going on. And I remember trying to, like, refresh NBCOlympics.com, and there was some person doing, like, quick hits. And you just, like, knew it was going down. When she was only 0.03 ahead of Irina, I didn't think Shizuka Arakawa was going to win. I didn't see that coming. That was there were things we didn't know yet, you know, but I think that was the moment. And now you solved this on the yoga mat, I think.
Oh, but what really needed to happen was that she needed to pull a Simone Biles and find a way to take Adderall. And I think that could have really helped.
Will this help Jeremy in his comeback?
I don't know if that's Jeremy's issues. I haven't seen him in yoga yet.
Well, Jeremy does come to New York, so I think I'm going to invite him to yoga with you, and I think that you can... When are you moving to Jersey? Because La's actually moving closer to me, although you've been, you know, holding out. You aren't here yet, so I'm very upset about this, but these are things we need to know. But let's solve the world's ice dance problems. So I have to say, two interesting things that happened is we have not seen the Shibutanis yet this season. And I saw someone from the Shibutani camp that was talking about them, and they still haven't announced their free dance, what it is, but they apparently like the programs. But I thought, this is very interesting that no one has seen the Shibutanis, because with Tessa and Scott coming back, and everything that's been going on in Russia, and them trying to get an ice dance team, it's like the chess pieces are being pushed on the board, and there are cards going on, and with Weaver and Poget, they had tried to go to Marina, they tried to go to Marie-France, they even talked to Caroline, but then they wound up with Morozov, who's probably the perfect coach for them to make a run for the podium, because otherwise they were probably dead in the water. So I think that this is really interesting. And Nikolai also pulled them out. Now, they used to skating pretty well before this, but they said that they're making a change, which could mean a different program, which I have not heard, or that they're with Nikolai. Interesting thing.
Who said making a change?
Weaver and Poget on Twitter, which I think means their coaching change. But newsflash, they have been with Nikolai for quite some time. Fleur was getting her skates done and saw her and Dennis 10 with Nikolai quite some time over the summer. So this is not as new. But we have to look at who is on the ice dance panel here at this competition. There is Georgy Alek, who is said to be a friend of Russia. And then the other one, Galina, is said to be a good friend. She's Polish, my Polish people. She's said to be someone that Tarasova likes very much. And then you have to look at Stepanova and Bukin are in this competition. Tarasova coached Besmianova and Bukin in '88, which I don't know if you've ever seen them skate, but I've Googled them. They were Tarasova's team in the '80s who had all of the hair and the makeup. So she's very invested in this team. And within Russia, there's a lot of paranoia that Tarasova is like going to get this team to the Olympics. So the other teams are very paranoid about this team. And I think that's why both Marina and Igor had Tarasova, like, work on the programs. And the way my coach always talked about Tarasova, it was like, yeah, sure, Tarasova coached Klimova and Ponomarenko. She was like, they let her think she did the choreography, but really it's Olynyik's current coach who coached them. So they all seem to be getting Tarasova, like, on their team, but everyone withdrew. And it looks like Marie-France should have done the same thing with Hubble and Donahue, because they got hosed here at this competition. What did you think of the results between Hubble and Donahue and Stepanova and Bukin and the differences in these teams?
Well, I thought that Stepanova and Bukin probably have a little bit more speed than Hubble and Donahue. Again, it's hard to see on YouTube, but I think that probably sets them apart. I mean, Stepanova and Bukin skating is a lot like looser. There's a lot more flailing arms and legs. They're definitely making a much safer choice in the short dance. And then in the free skate, I just felt that technically Hubble and Donahue, especially in the second piece of music, the I Can't Help Falling in Love with You, the difficulty is not there. It's beautiful. There's a lot of beautiful moments and long sweeping edges, but that part's really not difficult for an ice dancer. As much as I enjoy watching it, I think they probably just lose that technical mark there, especially in that section. And then they pick it up for the third piece of music. But if you have the first piece, they do a lot of lifts, getting some points there. The difficulty's there just in the lifts. And then the second part, it's kind of blank.
Yeah. I think I love the first piece of music. Can't Falling in Love is actually my least favorite music, which is the piece of music that they base the whole program around. And I actually wonder if it's a mistake, because they were obviously influenced because everyone loved Hallelujah, and then they used it here again. But I feel like in ice dance, you can't repeat what you've already done, because it's just an excuse for the judges and the audience to hate on you. And I think that you always have to push forward. Here, Zach was quite sick before he went to Finlandia. So they said he was getting through, but they looked really slow. And there are certain parts of both programs, especially when they're going around the corners, where as wonderful as their knees and their edges are, they aren't covering much distance and they aren't going very fast. And Marie-France said that she wants to crack the whip on them. And I think speed, power, and intricacy is really where they need to. And also, your twizzles are how people are going to judge you in terms of skating skills. It's one of the easier ways to differentiate teams. In each one, in the short, one of them was off balance, and in the free, the other one was. They just have to nail those twizzles every single time, and they need to be in unison, and it needs to be a moment. And they just look a little bit sloppy. And with the short dance, I respect that they're going for the risk, and they're actually doing more hip-hop than other teams are. But I think when it's not well executed, it comes across a bit like Pimp My Ride on MTV. And I don't know if the ISU judges are ready for this. Like, I respect that. Notice that they took the risk and Tessa and Scott didn't. Tessa and Scott are going, like, more jazzy funk than, like, true hip-hop. Mm-hmm. Rather than this team is going more hip-hop. But I don't know if the skating world is ready for true hip-hop.
Well, I really like the I Can't Help Falling in Love With You piece of music from The Free.
Okay.
That is my favorite part of The Free.
That's your favorite part? Mine is the first. So.
Okay, so in the short dance, though, so hip-hop, I mean, I'm not a dancer. I don't know dance. But to me, hip-hop is a very stationary dance.
Yes.
And so I love the beginning of their program, the blues part, when they switch to the hip hop. And I do like this short dance, and I do think it's one of the better hip hop short dances there this season. But you know how we talk about Mariah Nagasu and a little bit of Bax Aaron, like taking the smoke breaks during their long program? So when they go to the hip hop and they're a little bit more stationary, it kind of looks like the smoke breaks, and like they need to just keep moving.
I think the program needs to be reworked. I do, and I think maybe actually fewer music edits. I know they want to take us on a journey through all the decades, but I don't think we need to hit all of the decades. I don't think that's really necessary. I think we get the point. This program is better in person, and I think that they never get like the little moments that Madison has. And I also think that they need to fix the costumes of the Free. I know she likes the long dresses. She actually is like quite a muscular, athletic girl, and I think that it makes her look a little bit stiff and matronly when she has the long hallelujah dress. And I think it was pretty for that moment. But I think gray is always a mistake because gray washes you out, and I feel like in dance you always need to be a little bit more striking. And I think the music is a little bit gray, and I think the costume can't be gray as well. I think they need like an ombre.
The gray.
What?
I think Marie-France loves the gray.
Well, Tyler Cranston doesn't. He said that you don't win in gray.
Right. But she has Tessa in gray.
Which I also think is a mistake.
Right, I do too. I'd put her in bright blue for that. But
Marie-France, call up La. She's going to give it to you, okay? I mean, but okay, so also, we need to pay attention to the marks because in Madison and Zach's interview, which I know is one of your favorites, remember he said that Patrice Lauzon is the scary one in the rink. They also said that Romain is the one that's going to tell you how awful you are. So Patrice had some I always like watching him because he makes these facial expressions where like he is a little bit scary in the rink. Like he never yells, but you can just like tell that he's the tough one. Like Marie-France is the one that you want to go like sip lattes with and be fabulous and watch like French films. However, we need to pay attention to what Patrice Lauzon said in the Ice Network article, because he was the one that went there, and he said, in skating technique, we like it with no noise and very soft, controlled edges. And in the choreography, we like programs that are intimate between the couples and every movement clings from one to the other, and it's always a story between two people. But I like watching all the styles. I do what I like, and other people do what they like. It would be boring if everyone looked the same. So what he's saying is that the Russians have noisy edges, and that he thinks that theirs are better, which is like a lovely kind of shady remark. And I think that Patrice Lauzon gets my quote of the week for that moment, because he was trying to do it in a really classy way, but it was subtle shade at the Russians. So what do you make of the other teams here? Because I feel like Marie-France's teams are getting shibutani'd. Because they're going to have the French and Tessa and Scott as 1 and 2, I think everyone else is going to get a little bit dinged by the judges, and that they're going to be looking for them. What did you think of my girl Olivia Smart and her partner Adria Diaz? Now remember, this is very the cutting edge, because Adria dates Madison Hubble, Olivia dates Zach Donahue. I mean, talk to a psychologist about all of this. It's very interesting. We can go on group dates, yeah.
And I just realized that her previous partner was the brother of Buckland.
Oh, okay.
From Britain.
Yes.
I mean, last name's Buckland, I think.
Yes, that is the brother, yeah.
The brother that skates and, like, they both, like, got sick or something and missed Worlds.
That awful thing, yes. Yes.
They could have been an injury. I might have the facts wrong. But anyway, she skated with the Buckland brother.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know. All right. So Dave gets like really into certain characters in this sport, and like the French 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And he gets like really, really passionate and into it, and like you like have to watch them. It was like Morozov's daughter and wife this summer. It's like you are no longer his friend if you are not like responding to the text messages and watching this certain person. And like when we'll have like a conversation on like if Ashley Wagner has the same choreography and if that's Shaylin Bourne's fault or if that's Ashley's fault, he's like, well, I just sent her to Marie France because like right now Marie France is Dave's girl. And so is Olivia Smart, and like I just like gotta go along with it. And
but did you like her?
I mean, yeah, I thought the partner was on 2 feet a lot.
And missing his hand on the Twizzles.
And I love the color of her dress. Like, good job not wearing gray. Like
she has the extension that I look for. Like,
just like take her and tell us what's so great about her.
She has the great upper body. She has the great extension. She expresses this music well. They didn't skate into each other in this program. They did lose some levels. They didn't mess up the lifts because I get invested. Yes, I also like Nikolai Sorensen. By the way, I'm into how he like flirts his way through that short dance with his partner, who's his girlfriend. Yes, but I am into the whole thing with Olivia Smart. But apparently, you're throwing shade. Are you into Marin Honda? Because you know Marin Honda is my other girl at the moment.
Yes. Yes, I told you. We both thought that she had won the Junior Grand Prix when she was second.
Did you start watching Kasafu no Mita that I told you to start watching? Because I'm very into the drama that her sister is in about the housekeeper that can't smile or make any emotions after the mother commits suicide. And like Marin Honda's sister is like 6 years old and like trying to commit suicide in the first episode to be like closer to the mother. It's just watch it. Find an English subtitled version. It's a great time. Have you started watching?
The sack and say that Marin Honda has a younger sister who also skates and is a child actress in would considered a soap opera?
It's a Japanese drama. It was 11 episodes. But she's in a lot of stuff. She's like a child star. Plushenko came to visit her. She visited him. Like, yeah. I'm into the Hondas, okay? I'm in there for the journey. They also have that Tai Chi and Sarah, and yeah, we're into it, okay? Apparently you're not. You're giving me shade here.
No, I like her skating. I'll watch the show.
Oh, okay. Well, I would like you to watch the show. Well, wrapping it up, the French also, as we talk about Marie France. So, Gabriela Papadakis, Guillaume Cizeron, they did their program. We finally saw their programs for the season. Amy Winehouse combined with swing for the short dance, the avant-garde, piano clanging, free dance. I believe it's winter into spring. What did you make of their programs?
They're kind of beginning to look like clones of themselves.
Okay.
From season to season. I mean, they're definitely very strong. I think they actually look a little bit stronger than Tessa and Scott at this point in the season. I'd expect them to really go head-to-head this year. Yeah, I mean, I hope they look like world champions. The beginning of the free dance, I don't know if it was like I was listening to it, if it was just what I was watching it on, but it like sounded a little weird in the arena.
It is a strange sound.
Yeah. It was like, did you hear like clicking and screeching?
Not when I was watching, so I think that was the cameras or something going on. But when I was watching it, it's interesting. I like the Amy Winehouse part of their short dance, even though it's really depressing when you hear it for hours upon hours a day, especially if you've seen the Amy Winehouse documentary. It's incredibly depressing because the associations are everywhere.
That documentary is depressing.
Yeah. So you watch Amy, so that is, to me, I find that the French don't quite have the versatility of Virtue and Moyer when they go into the swing section. I think it's kind of awkward. I think that they're not the best swing dance. And I get that Marie France is trying to make them more versatile and work on them for their long term. But the short dance isn't usually their friend. And I think that Tessa and Scott have a stronger short dance than the French do. I think the free dance is...
I love
what did you say?
Dance.
You like
I
Tessa?
love Tesson's.
I do too. What's your favorite part? Are you team at the beginning of it, the middle, or the end? Because the Purple Rain is the end.
Yeah.
The end, right? The Purple Rain. Yes, that is the correct part to like. Now, the free dance, I get what you're saying about them being clones. They do try to, like, they have cool movements and, like, shapes that they're creating. And I think that she kind of, yeah, she takes what they did last year and then she's trying to push it more and more avant-garde. So I think that them, like, they have a style that she's trying to morph over time rather than do something like a tango one year. And this, like, they're going to be the avant-garde French team. She's kind of, like, slowly prepping us. But do you like it? Are you into it? Like, what?
I mean, can you say that Hubble and Donahue are taking their Hallelujah short dance from last year and making it into a version of that for the free dance, and the judges are they're going to knock them for that, but the French can come out and
I think the French are the French could be knocked out for doing that.
Yeah, they're basically giving us the same type of program every year.
Yeah, I think that they're trying to be more. The one thing is that Tessa and Scott are obviously their competition. I don't know if Latch is a striking enough piece of music to, like, grip you, to pull you away from the French. It's a little safe for me.
I really liked the Latch. I thought they needed to actually bring in the Latch part earlier in the free dance.
Are you amused that Meryl Davis used that music on Dancing with the Stars to win? Marie France says that she picked the music that Tessa and Scott didn't know, but you know everyone in skating is giving a side eye to this. Because remember, Tessa and Scott were one of the ones who said that obviously she had an advantage on Dancing with the Stars. They gave us the quotes.
She's a nice dancer. She did. She knows how to count music.
Yes, but they also were the ones who were like, oh, we're very good friends with Charlie, as they told us after the Olympics in those articles. They really brought it after the
Olympics. Really take, like, something from Dancing with the Stars and compare it to, like, the competitive season. And I also don't remember Meryl doing that. I remember the John Legend All of Me dance.
Okay. So in yours, the Latch didn't even exist. So Meryl, you know what? Did Tessa Virtue watch Meryl Davis on Dancing with the Stars? That's what I want to know. And if she did, would she admit to it? Would you admit to it? Would you have watched?
Oh, yeah.
Bitterly? With, like, wine and yes. With Abby Lee Miller talking about the sickled foot. Well, what was your moment of the week, Law?
Ooh, I didn't prepare for this.
On the spot, yes.
Patrick Chen, both programs. I'd say the free.
Okay. I'm going with Mawasada's free skate, particularly the footwork section. It was my moment of the week. I was expecting maybe the French to be my moment of the week, but I really was into Mawasada's free skate. I'm also into Kasafu no Mita. So everyone, get watching that. Remember to pick up skating on air and hold an edge. Don't wear gray. Get your keratin treatments and look sexy. Bye, guys.
Bye.